So we were having a conversation, after the stream,
Mm.
and I was like, this would be a great conceptual video, a nice topic to let the viewer kind of bandy about in their minds. Uh, what are the pros and cons of being a forgiving person? What are the pros and cons of being an unforgiving person?
Mm.
Now, Cap, you're a little bit more on the less forgiving side, correct?
Yeah, I'm definitely less forgiving. I think as time has gone on in life, you can only give people so many opportunities, and there's levels to it, right? If it's a small infraction, maybe we just get into an argument over something stupid, whatever. Water
Like me
under the bridge.
interrupting you.
Yeah. But if it's a massive breach of trust, I'm pretty much done with you forever. And that can go from like talking shit behind my back, or that can go from talking shit about my boys behind my back, or just spreading confidential information. Like, I'm done. I don't need to associate with you. Like, for me, it's fuck you on sight. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. If you caught a stray bullet, I'd piss on your grave. I don't care. That's just me. I don't have an empathetic bone in my body for those that have betrayed my trust. Now you're a little bit more empathetic. I would say more forgiving than I. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I understand as an imperfect human being that there are no perfect people.
Mm.
And I think that I just look at the human condition, and to me, it's very clear that you're going to get people who are going to either A, make mistakes, or B, just flat out do something wrong for any number of reasons. Sometimes it can be that they believe that they can realize an opportunity if they did this one thing wrong, maybe to you or to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
What I choose to look at instead, what kind of character have they displayed more often than not? What are their patterns as a person? Is this something that is in their wheelhouse?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this something that I could say, you know what? This one of these actions is not like the others, and then I can write them off as anomalies. So what I like to do is I like to figure out what the pattern of behavior is before letting people go, because people make mistakes. I've had situations in life where I was really angry at somebody and I thought that it was a fireable offense as far as like friendship is concerned, but I didn't do it. And some great opportunities were realized down the line. Now, this person, were they as forgiving of me when I hadn't actually done anything wrong to them? Not so much, right? But I want to make sure that I have a code that I live by where I give everybody every opportunity to succeed or fail as far as my perception of them and our dealings, so that I have a definitive answer. So I don't have questions later on in life. Hey, did I keep this person around too long? Did I cut this person off too quick? No, I want to make sure I get all the information that I possibly can get, while also showing a certain level of compassion, because I know that I'm going to make mistakes too. I know that I'm not above fucking up. So I just try to look at things from that particular situation. I tend to try to be a little bit slower to write people off. Now, you said there are levels, right, Cap?
Yep, there's
Now,
levels.
I mean, there are certain things that if you do certain things, I may not be thinking about whether or not you need to be forgiven. At that point, I'm thinking about, will I need to be forgiven for what I do next? But all in all, I try to take a pragmatic view and to understand that people are going to do bad things. Good people can do bad things sometimes.
I mean, listen, we have the human condition. We aren't perfect. We're flawed. Every single one of us. And I'm not going to sit here and say anything different. But let's also be clear. If there's a fight or a conversation that goes left, I think, yeah, there can be some forgiveness. Even if you get into a situation where you're very combative with one another. But to me, I can't hang out or associate with someone that has blatantly broke my trust and has tried to affect me on either a personal level, a financial level. That's when, to me, it's like, okay, so now you're after me, like, fuck you, right? Like, you can say sorry all the fucking day you want, but you can, like, suck the backside of my dick. I don't care. Legitimately. I don't.
Shaft.
But I think that's just my personality, because in life, right, I used to be a super empathetic person. I'd forgive everybody, right? Then I got stabbed in the back. One time, actually, literally. So for me, I don't have the energy to waste with people that I know don't have my best intentions in mind, and they're all about themselves. Because I will tell you from experience, I've had people that have had no fucking problem almost taking my life away because they had an opportunity to elevate themselves. So for me, like, and that's where my worldview is formed, right? If you break my trust once, I'm done with you. And if you're one of those rare people I give a second chance to, you better not fucking fumble the bag. Because once you do that, I'm just like,
wrap it up.
You know, if you're on fire, bro, I'm not even gonna piss you out. I don't care. That's just me. You know? And am I gonna acknowledge that's somewhat toxic? Absolutely. But currently, just with how people interact with each other and how society is, I'm gonna protect what's mine. I'm gonna protect my inner peace. I'm not gonna put the needs of others ahead of my own well-being. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, and it's a shame because I can acknowledge that it is somewhat of a toxic mentality, but it's something I've had to do because constantly when you give these people second chances, you know, stab you right in the back.
More along the lines of where you're coming from, there is a tactic that I employ, and it came from being heartbroken several too many times when dealing with women, as I've gone through my adulthood. And I say to people, it is best to love with your eyes open. There are going to be certain things where certain situations, certain relationships, business relationships, family relationships, personal, interpersonal, romantic. I'm the type of person that I'm going to fall into some sort of bond with somebody and like really give it my all, but I am going to be watching like a hawk all of your patterns, all of your behavioral patterns. And then just like that, once I've been able to identify what the pattern is, either I will be loyal to you forever or I will disappear like a ghost. Because there are people who I've cut off in my life that have never actually done anything like really bad to me, but I was able to extrapolate by how that they lived their life. Again, I'm very pattern oriented. I can say, well, this person is pretty unscrupulous when it comes to these sorts of things. And they may think that if something big happened that they would do the right thing, but I can tell that this is not the type of person that would do the right thing in small circumstances and relatively innocuous circumstances. I know that they cannot be trusted with something major. I'm going to go way over here. Now, do I hate the person? Absolutely not. No. But would I give them an opportunity to get a blade near my back? Absolutely not.
No. I think the problem is that I feel, so as you know, I grew up in the Christian faith and, Catholic household, all that, and like, oh, forgiveness. And I think at times being too forgiving is actually toxic as well, right? Where you're just throwing out your own well-being, like, oh, we'll turn the other cheek. I mean, there's only so many times you can keep getting betrayed, and it's just like, I look at you like, dude, that's foolish, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a good old Christian boy anymore, but when I was younger, when I was following the path of Jesus, I used to try to do the best thing, like, oh, forgive people. Oh, we just messed up. And it just constantly kept happening. Like, just people taking advantage of that. So If you're too forgiving at times, people will kind of prey on that as a weakness, you know? And that's unfortunate. That's not how society should be. But when people feel like they can take advantage of you, they will. And I've seen that from personal experience. And that's why, you know, some people kind of call me an asshole at times. So I'll just cut them off at the knees now. But I've just, through life experience, I'm like, dude, like, I'm not going to waste my energy with you. Like, you're a fucking waste of breath to me. Because I've dealt with your types before. And I do like what you said, is when you know someone's patterns. I had a very good friend of mine, I could say a best friend of mine, I had to cut off completely. Because just the patterns and the negativity that he kept drawing himself into, like, I don't want to surround myself that way. Like, you know, like, I just don't want to involve myself in that life. And it was just, it's unfortunate because there's so much potential you see in there and you want the best, but there's only so much you can say. But getting, you know, back to the forgiveness and empathy and all that. I mean, it's good to forgive people, I'd say, for the lesser stuff, right? Like, you know, maybe like a white lie or, I don't know, a small fight. But when someone breaches your trust, for me at least, it's, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth forgiving someone. I don't know.
Well, it sounds to me like what you're saying is that you don't think that people should be like Sneeko. And when somebody's clapping your girl's cheeks, you just say, you know, turn the other cheek.
Yo, Jesus Christ, dude.
That's really, you said all those words to say that. In the comment section down below, we want to know what your take is on this particular concept of forgiveness. Is forgiveness worth it? Has there been any time where you've benefited from being forgiving? Have you benefited from being forgiven? You know, have you tried to forgive someone and gotten burned? Or did you pay a price when you've done something wrong and you were not forgiven? And how that affected you? Put all of that in the comment section down below. Until next time.